Secret friends, unite!
Welcome to the Secret Friends Unite podcast, episode 477. This is your guide to the geek side. And I am one of your hosts, Todd Oxtra from beautiful Savage, Minnesota. Man, it is time for grads and dads, and I'm both this year. I'm a father of a grad. My son is graduating this weekend.
Wait a second. Does that mean next year you won't be a dad anymore? Do they only go together?
I will be a dad of a non-grad, of a post-grad, I guess.
So you're at like 50%?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't get to double dip next year. Well, I don't even get to double dip. I mean, my son gets to dip, and I get to dip. And we dip, you dip.
I was going to say, it's not like you're making anything off it because you have to pay. You have a grad party that costs money. So
exactly.
This time next year, you can take that grad party money, go buy something nice for yourself.
Did you like my Freak Nasty reference, Charlie?
When not dip, you dip, we dip.
So it's a double dip.
Yeah. Yes, I like it.
Absolutely. We're excited for that. It's nice. Tomorrow is Logan's last day of school. We're going to IHOP. That's kind of the tradition. We take him out for breakfast. So we're doing IHOP at 7:30 in the morning. Good time.
Nice. I feel like I've heard you say that before. That's fun. Yeah. Yep. IHOP is actually a place where we sometimes will get a DoorDash on like a Saturday morning. We'll be like, we just want IHOP. So we'll get, that's weird. It's a weird one. You know what? Sometimes it scratches the itch, but.
Yep. So Charlie Carden joins us from the DoorDash IHOP capital of the world.
You're right. Beer City, USA DoorDashery. I work in the restaurant equipment business, and I was working in downtown Grand Rapids today, of which there are places like that door to door to door. And everybody does that DoorDash thing. We do like it when you just don't want to get your ass off the couch. What a time to be live.
Quick quiz, Charlie. What is your number one seller?
For
your job? What is your number one seller? Like what's the hotness?
Well, I've been there for a month and I've had one big job, and it was a refrigerated pizza prep table. So there you go. That's my hot seller.
I did not know they did that to keep the dough cool. I guess there's science.
No, it's a prep table, so it's where the ingredients are. So yeah.
Got it. Yep. It's your prep. It's Keep the cool side cool and the hot side hot. It's the BOT of tables.
Absolutely. Well, this has just been such great baseball. What's my top? My top seller is whatever I sold today. But anyway. I am in sales. And one thing that's great about sales is that you have customers, and our customers, we call them Patreons, the folks that support us over at patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite. A great place to visit where you get ad-free versions of our programs. And you also get all fun additional content that Todd and I and our partner Mark produce. Todd, you just got to do an episode of the Spinner Rack without me because I wasn't available with our partner Kelly Gettner. That I'm looking
forward to that's hearing. A preview, Charlie, because that episode will come out Friday.
Very exciting.
And it is a fun look at basically if you're interested in Superman and comic book stories with him, and that really represent why he matters in comics, check that out. Me and Kelly had a good time, covered like 4 different eras of Superman. I think you'll enjoy it.
Nice. I like it. And additionally, Kelly, who we work with quite frequently, has been on my program, which is called The Facts of Geek Life, where myself and a guest will take a classic series and a season of that show and talk about several episodes. She and I have been covering Buffy the Vampire Slayer together. And I know, Todd, she was reaching out to you to get some feedback. And with the 3 of us, we're going to potentially do an episode together. So all things that you can find over at Patreon. You can also get a great 7-day free trial. Check those out. We were talking about Kelly. She's actually one of our top tier patrons, along with her business partner Krayley, part of Phoenix Sisters Entertainment, along with John Sedorf, Brendan Myers, Corey and HD, and Matthew Keel. Our top tier folks are called BFFs. We have the awesome Nias family of the Twin Cities, Sean, Stella, and Henry, and Missy Merchant. So one more time, if you visit patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite, get to try us out for 7 days. And as Arnie loves to say, my famous line from Predator, if you like what you hear, stick around. It's good stuff. But what's even better stuff is what we're looking at for this week's cover. So June of 1961. And I know that was a little past the time, like when our parents would have been reading comics, because my dad would have been 12 years old. So maybe right around the same time period, but Action Comics issue 277, still 10 cents, because yeah, this was right around the time when Fantastic Four, the launch of the what do we call was it the Silver Age, the Golden Age of when over at Marvel, when they really
It's
launched?
Silver Age, yeah. Golden
Okay,
Age
gotcha.
is the DC era, pretty much.
Okay, gotcha. So this was, yeah, I suppose you would consider this to be kind of the end of the golden era, but Action Comics running strong. Superman, of course, was the majority star of Action Comics, but his cousin, Kara Zor-El, is in the mix, and you see the two of them hovering in midair with Metropolis in the distance. Supergirl is on the left, and she says, "Pull him over the wire, Streaky," referring to a cat with a stripe on it and a cape. Not familiar with this character before now, so this is new into me. Pull him over the wire, Streaky. Show Superman what a super cat can beat a super dog anytime. And on the other side of this telephone pole is it? Yeah, it is telephone pole because it's in the air. I didn't know if it was just a post and it was like electrified wire or something, but they're in the air, so wouldn't make much sense to have an electrified wire in the air where you're going to electrocute birds. I don't know. But anyway, on the other side, Superman, speaking to Crypto, who we're all very familiar with. Come on, Crypto. Win this tug of war, and it will make you the super pet champion. I got to be honest with you. I don't like how this is perpetuating a very speciesist, racist view of animals. Why do cats and dogs have to be at odds? It's like saying men and women have to be at odds. I don't like it. I'll go on record. I'm against it.
You know, Charlie, there's probably, if you've seen the ancient Cats versus Dogs documentary of the late 90s, more there than you need to know.
Yep.
Charlie, it's all what you know. But the reason why these two are fighting is because the pets got a little jealous. Superman actually got a little bit too close to Streaky. It caused Crypto to get a little jealous, and that's why it was kind of like I guess the pets were trying to say who is the better one, so Superman would love them apparently. But it also did include Beppo, the super monkey, as a cameo. So there you go. I mean, and if this all happened in Smallville, I mean, where the hell did a monkey come from? Nobody knows.
It's funny. This kind of reinforces something that came from the Smallville TV show, that Smallville itself is a suburb of Metropolis, which I think they go back and forth continuity-wise. But assuming that is Metropolis, as you're seeing, if you're looking at this cover, watching us on YouTube, that it's kind of in the distance here. That is kind of, if you, in the Smallville TV show, if they climbed the Smallville water tower, you could see Metropolis in the distance.
You know what, Charlie? Now I'm going to spoil it for you. Smallville is actually Savage, Minnesota.
So Metropolis is your Twin Cities, and if you remember from BVS, the Twin Cities were Metropolis and Gotham, and they were split by a bay. So you're saying the Mississippi River is basically the bay. And so which one is Gotham and which one is Metropolis?
So Minneapolis is
Metropolis.
Minneapolis is Metropolis. Okay. And St. Paul is Gotham.
So
it's an older part of the city. It's a little bit more antiquated, but has a lot of character.
That's fascinating. So,
but Minneapolis has more crime. So I don't know.
Is the superhero then Prince?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
It was Prince and Kirby Puckett.
Prince and Kirby Puckett, the famous Chris Rock routine of the only two black people in Minnesota.
Exactly. But Charlie, let me tell you, man, that's not why you bought this comic. You bought this comic because you wanted to get the great deals and steals on the back cover, where you could get 204 Revolutionary War soldiers for only $1.98. And it's amazing that, you know, they had like 12 different categories, so they didn't cheap out, which is great. And it's great, and it's fantastic. You not only got, you know, cavalrymen, you got infantrymen, different poses. You also got Indians for some reason, Hessian troops, Minutemen.
Hold on, Hessian troops. My only familiarity with that expression is from Sleepy Hollow, because that was the Headless Horseman. played by Christopher Walken before he was beheaded.
And
but
one of my
this
favorite
is
commanders was Tiger Hessian. So there you go. It all comes together,
Tiger.
Charlie.
My gosh.
But
Yes, it's very detailed for figures that are, if you're watching us, approximately an inch tall, and all molded plastic.
and they were
green plastic,
probably green or black in regards
Or-
to that, because they didn't
or
really
gray. Yeah,
they
exactly.
weren't pre-painted or anything like that.
It's not like what you see behind me, the very detailed figures they produce these
Exactly.
days,
But the cool part is, if you send the rush coupon today, you can say to them, "Gentlemen, here's my $1.98 Rush 204 short. Please ship these soldiers to me. And if I'm not satisfied, I get a full refund." So there you go. And I don't even see. Let's see. It's going to. Okay, it's going to Carl Place, Long Island, New York, and
Right.
Canadians can even get into the fund for $2.50.
Right. You add $1. Yeah. Oh, for
Why
$2.50.
would they care?
So, yeah, I don't. Well, the Revolutionary War, if you study your history, touched Canada in a lot of places too. So yeah.
Oh, so they can just kill all the Americans?
Yeah, exactly.
all the future Americans.
Well,
They're probably
April
they're pro-British, Charlie. Come on.
April and I just finished watching as I was telling you about the Handmaid's Tale, and it's all about Canadians taking in American refugees, and so yeah, they're just kind of waiting for their time to shine. Not to knock on our business partner Mark, we love his part of Canada without a doubt.
We love all Canada. Come on,
we do, absolutely,
they're good.
We do. But anyway, someone who is a well-known lover of the Revolutionary War would be our senior news correspondent, Madam Webb. She wasn't alive back then, but almost. She missed it by about 40 years. No, excuse me, that would be the Civil War. Okay, she missed this by about 140-ish years. But regardless, she's always doing what she does. She's down at the corner of Hollywood and Vine with the latest news and scoops for us. Let's get down there right now.
Now it's time for Madam Webb's rumors and news. Take it away, boys.
Thank you, Madam Webb. Oh, Madam Webb, let me tell you, at times like this, I think of your graduation, where you were the valedictorian of Potato Farmers University. You told them about all of the great resources you were needed to get to help Ireland get out of the Great Potato Famine. So, Charlie, you can salute this national hero.
I think the famine was before Madam Webb's time, but regardless, she did a great job. All right.
But no, but they didn't have a solve to it until Madam Webb came to the scene.
So she fixed it with true potato science.
That's right.
I love it. All right. First and foremost, and I admit I had to take a little break here to watch this trailer. We are getting what is reported to be a third and final film to sew up the Venom trilogy, I guess, this fall. So this falls outside of our summer movie wager. And damn it, Todd, this could have been the one that swept them all. And an Andrew Garfield connection that looks insane. You're going to have to throw that one at me. I think I might have missed that. But Todd, you came right out and said, hey, this could be the best they have to offer. I would like to hear, and I'm sure our listeners would like to hear, kind of what you meant by that.
Well, Charlie, when it comes to the Sony cinematic universe of Spider-Man characters, better known as the Spumco, the barrier of like quality is very low, very low. The first Venom, I thought it had charm to be the B movie it was wanting to be. Venom 2 decided, you know what? We're just going to go over the top crazy. We're going to bring in Woody Harrelson and bring in Carnage. And it just gets dumber as we go along. Morbius came along and said, it's Morbin time. Here's a decent, maybe half of the movie. And the rest just becomes like a ridiculous, oh yeah, we're a superhero film. And here's a bad cameo.
I just don't remember any of it. I mean, honest to God, I don't. It's left me. I don't remember much except.
Why would you remember any of these, Charlie?
But anyway, what have we got? We've got. We got some things happening here that kind of grow the scope of it a little bit. Something that has happened in the comics subsequently, and is that the Krull or Null, who is the lord of all the symbiotes from the symbiote planet. I've read the backstory, but it's kind of escaping me. Is doing this alien invasion. So we've got meteors in the sky shooting symbiotes towards Earth. We're gonna get some wacky symbionts. We're getting like big monsters and stuff. It looks like, the big because we have a scene here of Venom on top of on top of a passenger plane for some reason, fighting a creature that kind of reminded me of like that big creature from the JJ Star Wars, plus the thing from Fallout with the fingers in its mouth. It kind of reminds you of that. So we're getting a bit more of the monster thing, and I don't even want to spoil the capper of how exciting the end of it was with the big symbiote horse. That was awesome.
And that's where I'm thinking I'm coming from in this movie. Essentially, there's the hunt for Venom. Chilto for Edgewer, I just killed that name, who is Baron Mordo in Doctor Strange, is in this as a commando.
And we've got what's her face? Is it Juno Temple from Ted?
Yes,
Lasso.
from Ted. Yeah,
that's who the woman. So you got two names, but let's face it, names didn't help any of the other films deliver quality. No. So it's not like, oh, he's really going to save the film. But yeah, it looks like it's kind of analogous to he's being chased by the army, kind of like the Hulk was in all of the Hulk films.
Correct.
And certainly in the Eric Bana Hulk film, that's basically what that was about. Well, excuse me, all the Hulk films, he was being chased by the army. But really, that was the big kind of driving force of the Hulk comics, is that the army was always chasing him. So that's what's going on in this. And so Chiwetel Ejiofor is an army officer, and he's leading the charge, and the whole trailers is like, I don't know why they're chasing me, and blah blah. And then we see the big meteors coming to Earth and all this different stuff. So,
I mean, essentially, it's going to turn out to be he is the only one that essentially can defend against this army of symbiotes. The creature that is highly noted is the big part of this movie. It's not Null. It's something else they mentioned when I was reading about it. So it's like it's a big creature, because Null is like a big bad knight dude. So a little different. So I think that's where it's going to land, is basically I think they're going to try to see if they can get other symbiotes to act as heroic along with Venom. Like Venom will speak to some of them that are good symbiotes and essentially create an army to take on this army of symbiotes. That's where I think this is all going, Charlie. And then Venom dies. This Venom dies in this universe, and then that's it. But it sets something else where then you find out there's a real symbiotes in the 616. I don't know.
616, gotcha.
Yeah.
I will admit that having a bigger scope because this is set in the desert and different landscapes, I find that to be more engaging than it's in New York City again and it's dark and it's raining all the time, because that's very Sony, that's very Daredevil, Fox universe. Like, it's dark and raining all the time, you know what I mean? Like, it's it's just trying to be very broody, where this seems to be they needed to change the setting to get this to be something kind of new and fresh. So, all right, I'll give it that much. Obviously, we're going to see it. It doesn't necessarily look like they're going to they make a big deal out of actor Reese Ifans, who played the Lizard in Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, as being the hippie in the van. But how could it be Kurt Connors if he's got two arms? So I don't know that it's actually him.
Yeah, and that's so bizarre. I mean, obviously we've never had a great connection with Spider-Man and Venom in their world, so it's weird. So I mean, maybe this is Kurt Connors who decided to just go follow the Grateful Dead,
the Walking Dead. Yeah,
exactly. There's one other character, Charlie, that you may be aware of. I'm not. Apparently, you see one man in jail, and it is known as he's actor Patrick Mulligan, and apparently he's going to be playing the villain Toxin.
Toxin is that is another symbiote character. That's I think Toxin is the spawn of Carnage, because their species reproduces asexually, and they don't have family per se. So when someone spawns another symbiote, it just goes off and does its own thing, and it's not like they're really related.
Okay, so if they had part of the Carnage, if they captured part of the Carnage symbiote, they could have experimented, and that creates Toxin, and maybe they team up and they take on the symbiote. So I think that's where
I recognize that other actor. So, but anyway, this comes out October 24th, so during spooky time. That's cool because it does anything with Venom does have a horror film vibe, and obviously there's monsters running around. So, so Todd, we will. I'll hold you to it because if you said this is the best that they've got, maybe we'll have to do some kind of retrospective where we force ourselves to watch the Venom films.
No. We'll just judge it based on the Metacritic. We'll judge it based on the Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic. Let it speak for itself. And you know what? Maybe you and I can do like a wager where we try to guess what the Rotten Tomato is going to be in advance.
And let the record show he called Metacritic Metacricket just now.
That's right, the Metacritic. Haven't you ever seen that? There's actually an account called the Metacritic, which is funny. Oh, it's very funny. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, we are having the summer of the cicadas all across the Midwest and the South. So, all right, moving on. I'll let you have this one, and I'll jump in because Chris Hemsworth is your Thor, and he's on the move to do some new stuff.
Yeah, this one's really interesting. I mean, Chris Hemsworth, we don't know where he is actually as a bankable star these days outside of the Thor films. He was just in Furiosa, so I assume now he's looking for another franchise to glom on to, and that franchise potentially may be the upcoming G.I. Joe Transformers film where he would potentially star in it. So at this point, we know we are getting Transformers 1. We also just had the Transformers Beast film where they introduced G.I. Joe.
Little cliffhanger.
Yes.
Spoilers they kind of
for a movie that's a year old. Yeah.
Quick sidebar in regards to G.I. Joe. I probably mentioned to you this Kickstarter that's going on right now about the G.I. Joe Marvel Comics. $1.65 million pledged. They blasted through all of their Kickstarter extra goals. So they just and still with the rest of the month. So they had no idea that it would fund like this. It's crazy. I'm really looking forward to it. We backed it up, but we're getting all this
funded by two people. Yes. $650,000 each.
Exactly. No, they reached their $50,000 goal in 6 minutes. It was pretty sweet. But anyway, back to you. Plug.
Correct. And that person who made that book, Chris Hemsworth.
Right, exactly. He wrote it all
full circle now.
Back in 1982. It was not Larry Hama, sorry.
So at this point, it's going to be interesting because Steven Spielberg is supposed to executive produce this movie along with Lorenzo Di Bonaventure, Michael Veridian, Michael Bay, Tom DeSanto, and Don Murphy. Man, those are names like people from like 20 years ago. Those are the hottest things in the world.
Exactly. Michael Bay. Plus, I thought you were going to say when you said Lorenzo, I was hoping for Lorenzo Lamas. So I was
Lamas. No, the Renegade can't be. Is no producer of movies. Sorry.
Bummed out.
With this, I am curious to see where this goes because he is already voicing the voice of Optimus Prime / Brian Pax in the animated film. So does that mean when we get we've already had Optimus again, would he be like a Rodimus Prime?
No, he's
live action.
He's going to be Duke.
So you think he's going to be Duke? Okay, well, so you think he's going to be like, which makes sense.
Tall, hunky, and blonde, which is what.
Wait, wasn't there like an Australian G.I. Joe or somebody?
It's funny because I don't know if you listened to Weekly Planet this week, but they were making those same jokes, but there really wasn't. But one or more of the Dreadnoks came from Australia. So yeah, you think he could be like Ripper?
Oh, that'd be great after Dementus. I mean, Dementus attention. You're right. Dementus was essentially a Dreadnought already.
The main three Dreadnoks, one of them was British. That was Ripper, the one that was Buzzer, the one who had the blonde hair and the ponytail. And then one was from Tassie, and then one was from I think in New South Wales. So so one of them was from Tasmania. That's what you get. And then you had various other ones in later generations that were also Australian. So yes, but no, not a Joe that I could be misremembering, but I don't think an actual Joe.
If this actually happens, Charlie, maybe we'll in a future episode we'll do our like fan casting of this G.I. Joe Transformer movie.
Please,
we'll figure out who's the cast is going to be, and we'll try to figure out. Maybe we'll do a pitch meeting G.I. Joe Transformers.
I love it exactly.
Save it.
The Joes can drive the Transformers, and when they transform, one of them forgets the Joe's in there, and they get all squished. Ew, pasty.
So So look for this movie probably in 2026 at the earliest,
Yeah,
and we'll see if our pitch meeting when we do in a future
right.
episode comes true.
If Hemsworth can do it. So, all right. Well, I'm going to grab this one, and you'll hear this twice because we'll talk about it over on Code 47, which will be out next week Monday. But just got the news drop today that Star Trek Prodigy, the kind of kid focused animated project, unlike Star Trek Lower Decks, which is definitely not kid focused, is coming to Netflix on July the 1st. So for the 4th of July mega weekend, you get some new Star Trek. Now, we just had the end of Star Trek Discovery, which we will also be talking about on Code 47. Todd, are you caught up? Where are you at with Discovery?
I
Not
have
caught up?
not progressed at all. I've been too busy with traveling, Charlie, so I'm
I
not the
hear ya.
best person in the world for
That
staying
is
up to date.
that is okay. But I'm trying to remember, did you try Prodigy out when it came out a couple of years ago?
I watched like the first two. It was almost like the initial like movie or whatever that
Right.
sets it all up.
Yep.
Got to space, and I never checked back in. I know people didn't like the main character because he was kind of an idiot. So
Yeah,
I'm assuming that improved.
he was roguish, and yeah, I know that Kay, who we used to record with, she was not fond of him, but I think kind of came around eventually. But the show served as a spiritual cousin to Star Trek Voyager, also not Todd's favorite Star Trek show, but one that a lot of people hold in very high regard because the hologram assistant on the Prodigy starship that our ragtag group of aliens, all teenage aliens, stumble upon, it's a Starfleet ship lost on this planet, and its holographic assistant is Catherine Janeway. What happens by the end of the show, sorry about the spoilers, is that they do finally find their way back to Earth. They meet the real Janeway. And then as this new season starts out, and this is so weird, this season has been finished production-wise since the beginning of the year, and it erroneously dropped in France a couple of months ago. So the French have it. They've had the entire 20 episode second season.
The French.
The French, yes. So if you read French and you have a VPN, you probably get your hands on it. But they've had it. But yeah, the entire 20 episode second season has been produced.
20? Wow.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, I know. Well, and because it was originally on Nickelodeon. But then
It's
also
like half a season of Clone Wars.
exactly, and it's twice the season of any other show that's out there right now. But it is 30 minutes.
Exactly.
So yeah, we're not sure if this will be a weekly release starting in July 1st. We also don't know if they're going to split the 20 episode season in half, which is what they did last
It's
time.
Netflix, Charlie. They're probably going
Yeah.
to do half launches or the whole thing
Right.
They don't do it. They don't do a weekly drop.
Exactly. So, anyway, on Code, as we go through and talk about it, we will do it only in 2 episodes at a time. So, to stretch it out so that we don't try to be like, and now we're going to talk about 5 episodes at once, because we want to give it its due. So,
Sure, you need content.
yeah, we need more content. Have you listened to a podcast? We need content. But anyway, it's a fun show. Kate Mulgrew will be returning as Vice Admiral Janeway, but also Robert Picardo will be returning as the emergency medical
That's great.
hologram. Yes, April and I have had the occasion to meet him several times. Did I tell you the story he told me about his character, Coach Cutlip, on The Wonder Years? But we
Oh.
bumped into him on the cruise. It was just April and me and him waiting in an elevator. And at the time, April and I were watching The Wonder Years. And I said, Mr. Picardo, I loved your character on there, Coach Cutlip. And he got in the elevator and Dirk says, I love that character too. He says he was basically Richard Nixon with about 60% of his intelligence.
I love it.
What? Oh my God! What a great dude. So, but anyway, no, I look forward to this, Todd. I would. I don't know. I don't know if you would enjoy it. But I would say,
if like I said, I always view something as it just fell off. It wasn't like,
yeah.
If it gets better and the characters get more, they do more things, and
Like
they add some depth. Yeah. I was going to ask. So, is this Picard, like the show Picard, is that time frame?
It happens in the time frame. It's funny because they get very granular in things that happen after the last Star Trek film, which was Star Trek Nemesis. This is about 4 years after that, so it puts it just after, or actually in between, like Lower Decks. But there's no connection between the two. But it's way before Picard, because Picard takes place 20 years after
Oh,
the
okay.
end
I
of
just
the
saw the
TNT
gray in
films.
Janeway's hair, so I was like, oh,
Right.
maybe.
So she's only, because you did end up seeing her in that film. This is only about 5
Yeah.
years after that. So
Oh,
she
okay.
is, yeah. But she is, of course, wearing a different uniform, because in modern Star Trek, every day you wake up, you put on a different uniform. They're all different
Man, I'd hate to
styles.
be a troop paying for those new uniforms, man. Oh, man.
Exactly. The good news is everything comes out of Replicator, so nobody pays for anything. But anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. With the
Okay.
end,
Very good.
with the end of Discovery, which I'm admittedly not the biggest fan in the world. I probably enjoyed this show more. I'm really looking forward to it. So this should be cool. So yeah, July 1 on Netflix. And again, we don't know if we're getting the whole kit and caboodle, or if we're getting half of the season, or if we're getting it weekly drop. Netflix does weekly for some stuff, don't they? I swear they must.
No.
What?
Unless
No.
it's like a live show, they don't do
Right.
weekly for anything.
Okay. Well, then I guess it'll be the whole kit and caboodle. But anyway, get ready for us to really dole out the content over on Code 47 so that we can have stuff to talk about. So, anyway, all right. I know I snuck in that this next story, but Todd, you love to talk about big business stuff, so why don't you take this one away?
You can call me the analyst. That's my superhero name. Yes, I love business. I've been a business analyst. I've been a supply chain analyst. So I love looking at things, understanding how the world of business works, entertainment. I try to understand why things happen versus just saying, oh, they hate a show or that's why they cancel it. So in this instance, we've been hearing about Paramount Plus, Sherry Redstone, and the board are at odds of what's going to happen with Paramount Plus and Paramount, because it's weird because Paramount is also part of a amusements corporation as well, which is just crazy, Charlie.
Jolly Time Playthings and the Shine
Pretty
Hartwood
much, it's like
Yeah.
the Shine Hardwood company,
Right.
and then we have like a logging company, and then we have like a furrier.
I'll never forget my favorite line about Shineheart Wigs, which of course comes from 30 Rock, if you're not familiar, when Jack Donaghy, the character played by Alec Baldwin, says Shineheart is experiencing their first quarterly losses since the Civil War.
I mean, it's exactly that, because it's like you think about that, like, and like Paramount, if you think about it, it's CBS, it's MTV, it's Viacom, it's everything that's done, plus something called National Amusements, which is interesting. So the big thing is like, it's been like, is it all going or is it a part of it going? And that's been the big deal. So it sounds like there's been this company called Skydance, which has done a lot of production of movies. So essentially, Skydance has done, I think, the production on the Star Trek films, the most recent ones, right?
Yeah. That's
so
true.
And they want to get more into more distribution and things like that. So it kind of makes sense. And Sherry Redstone pretty much wants to just get out of the business, I think. But they want to keep the shareholders happy. So we got all these deals going on. So Sony has actually tried to do a deal to get Paramount, which makes sense because Sony has Columbia Pictures. They have Sony Music. They also have PlayStation branded, and they have electronics. So a lot of this is kind of crazy. And then with this, though, we're hearing that Skydance and wants to do a transaction that is going to involve all of the pieces, and it will wrap up the whole deal, and it's going to basically put a new player into the fold. Doesn't do any consolidation, which is kind of nice. If Sony and Paramount got involved, we'd see consolidation, which I would hate, because we'd have less studios doing more things. So this might be the best thing for the industry. And quite honestly, they are probably going to look for a partner, though, with Paramount Plus, Charlie. And I've heard potentially that there's a lot of courting people, because right now streaming is very difficult. People it's not growing as you would expect. So there potentially could be a partner coming to Paramount Plus. Now, I think it'd be cool if Sony went to Sony stuff went to Paramount Plus, because it makes sense, because Sony has no home. So it goes the highest bidder, essentially.
Right.
But,
So it would bring all their stuff under one roof. I love Paramount Plus for obvious reasons, because they have almost all of the Star Treks. We were obviously just talking about Star Trek Prodigy, which is on Netflix. It's the only Star Trek property that doesn't live on Paramount Plus, although the movies do tend to come and go, and sometimes you'll find them in other places, but they always tend to come back. But Paramount has just an enormous catalog of different stuff. They also own Comedy Central, and so we watch all of our late night shows the next morning. We watch those on Paramount Plus. So I mean, I find it to be kind of one of the more robust carriers, because they also have like MTV stuff and different stuff because of Viacom. So this partnership, as you're describing it, won't gut Paramount Plus. It won't say, "Oh no, we're selling it off for parts." It's going to be more of a stabilizing from a production standpoint. So where's the real benefit? Do you
So
kind of
I
see it?
think what you'll see is a lot of networks sold off that are
Okay,
within the brand, Charlie. I think you'd see a lot of those sub brands within I know at one point they've been trying to sell off BET and
right,
VH1 and all of these like networks. If you think about it, it's like how big is the network anyways with cable dying and people not getting these bundled channels? So I could see
right,
a lot of those channels just going away,
yeah,
selling them off to maybe Byron Allen was even looking to buy it, which is so funny because I think Byron Allen back in the day he was somebody else, but now he's become this like media, basically mogul. So
okay,
I expect that. I'd expect the whole thing to get a little bit smaller in regards to the amount of like networks they'd have, but
right,
potentially they keep a lot of like the core content like Beavis and Butthead, South Park, a lot of the Comedy Central stuff. I think it would
yeah,
just go under them, and maybe Comedy Central goes away, or they sell it off or something like that.
right. Very interesting. So yes, it's all about the pursuit of the almighty dollar. So, like I said, I just, from a creative standpoint, just want my Star Trek to stay my Star Trek. But Star Trek has changed hands and done different things over the years, so it endures. It's the cockroach in the nuclear war. You know what I mean? Star Trek
Well,
always survives.
I think we all hope though that with what Star Trek is doing, somebody doesn't come in and just like upend the cart and saying we don't want to spend that much money. We don't want to like where the correct direction we're going, because that would
Right.
suck. Because I think a lot of
Right.
people are very happy with what Star Trek is doing. I know I have
True.
been.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with with the diversification of it and having different offerings for different types of fans. It's the smartest as opposed to being the very kind of
Zack
admittedly
Snyder's
yeah.
Star Trek.
Oh,
Here we
right.
go.
We're going back to the well with the Tarantino Star Trek.
I mean, you always want Picard to get a little nasty, so there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Big stuff. Oh my God.
Picard's
All right.
mother's name is Martha. Oh, wait.
Oh, why did they do that? And he's fighting
They-
with it. We brought William Shatner back to fight with him. Oh, all right.
Absolutely.
Well, you take us through this last story too, because it's not my cup of tea, but where do you think that where do you think they're going with this last one here?
Charlie, I'll tell you, man. The Lord of the Rings license is such an odd bird
Yeah.
because we have the WB movies that were made, the new line, but under Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
And, we had those, obviously. We have the Amazon Prime series that is based on the books, not on the movies. And we've had a Gollum game.
Oh my God.
And now we are supposedly getting this movie that WB wants to go back to the well to
Yeah.
utilize their cinematic take on it,
Right.
to basically make a movie based on a passage in the original books that essentially was like a paragraph long. And then it was it was essentially someone quotes, "It was the hunt for Gollum." And then fast forward,
Gollum
and
Hunt.
the Gollum is found. They want to make a movie out of this, and it's essentially would be back in kind of the continuity between, I believe, and I don't know if they mention it when it actually would happen, but it would happen in the space of the original Lord of the Rings films.
Sure.
And because Gollum was basically captured, tortured to find the ring, and obviously he didn't have it. So this is and this is basically Aragorn's quest to
Right.
find Gollum, to make sure he doesn't divulge too much information, and to make sure that Bilbo and the Fellowship don't get exposed. So the interesting part is, and Peter Jackson is not going to be directing it, but he's going to be executive
Right.
producing it.
Yeah.
But apparently the funny part is Viggo Mortensen wants to return as Aragorn. The
Right.
problem is Viggo Mortensen is now going to be almost 30 years older than the part he played when
Makeup.
this came out.
So it worked for Indiana Jones. Oh wait.
Is it going to be a de-aging like Jeff Bridges and Tron and Harrison Ford? I mean it's going to be odd.
They did it with Sam Jackson, and they did it for the space of a whole movie in Captain Marvel. Now, admittedly, this article does say that he would be up for it. It didn't say that he was part of it. So this is one of these, it's news, but it's really not news to attach his name to this.
It's like everybody that was associated with something like, I would do that part. I like money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know it's dumb. It'd be like if you asked me if I would do it, I'd be like, sure, I'm not an actor or this guy, or I don't. Yeah, exactly. But why not? Money's great.
I mean, because you know what happens to Gollum. He ends up in, reaching out for the ring as it falls into Mount Doom. I mean, so there'd have to be something really, really interesting for this to happen. It's kind of like Furiosa. We like Furiosa, right, even though we're not huge fans of prequels. It would have to be a certain director, a certain story,
right,
to really make it worthwhile to add some more to the things. I typically don't like prequels, but this is a midquel, so it's a very odd offering.
Right. So yeah, I don't. As I said, I don't have a kind of a dog in the fight here. So, but again, it kind of sounds like it sure would be nice food. And then the bit is about the main actor. Like, sure, I'd like to do it. Doesn't mean that he's actually a part of it.
WB's like, well, we ain't making a Harry Potter movie anytime soon. Let's make some money.
Right. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, we will learn more about that as time goes by. But with that, it's the end of the news. Time to get out that Fuber app, that feeble Uber app. Got to get us down to Scugtown, Nastyville, with the blacklisted cab that we jump in, turn the radio on, and then I hear this ad.
Hey, Secret Friends Unite, let me tell you about Zencastr. We use them for our show, and now they're supporting us. Zencastr is now the all-in-one solution making podcasting easy. It's the ultimate web-based podcasting solution. Provides high-quality audio and video podcast production and hosting. With a full suite of professional tools, podcasters can seamlessly record, produce, and publish studio-quality content, all from one dashboard. Being a creator has never been easier. And we chose Zencastr because of the ease of use, high quality output, and it makes it super easy for our guests to come on. We had multiple solutions we tried before, and Zencastr has just been the best fit for us. Why Zencastr? It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. Log in using your browser and start recording a high-quality podcast right away. Record studio-quality sounds and up to 4K video with your guests. Feel a sense of zen knowing Zencastr's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. Have you ever worried what you sound like? Zencastr's post-production process makes you sound buttery smooth. It automatically removes those ums and ahs in your recording. It removes those awkward pauses in conversation too. Set the right podcast loudness and levels while reducing background noise with the click of a button. So if you're interested in making an easy, high-quality podcast just with the click of a browser button, go to zencastr.com/pricing and use my code SFU1. You'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Now back to the show.
Talk nerdy to me. Talk nerdy to me.
We're sitting in the Geek Easy, cover bands playing, drinks are poured, and we are ready to get our nerd on. So I'll be honest, I've been a little bit light on watching new stuff because I've been really busy with traveling and other things. Yep. I wanted to touch on a couple of things just very quickly, just because I think it's well worth checking out because I think they're interesting.
Yeah.
The first one is an animated series called Scavengers Reign. It came out on Max as an exclusive. It's an adult science fiction show, and it's about these scavengers that go to places and explore and kind of scavenge resources and investigate. And this I've only seen the first episode, but I have people like raved about it. It's like, this is sci-fi as you've never seen done before. And I was like, really? After watching the first episode, it is weird and crazy because they treat like science, like alien life forms as truly that, alien and interesting. So it's definitely different. The animation I don't love. It's the humans are kind of like very limited in detail. But the alien creatures are really cool, and the animation is fluid and looks pretty nice. But it really opens up as these people that are out in space have seen this wreck, and you're like, "Holy crap! You think there's any survivors?" And they say, I hope not, because it's just a wreck. So then it cuts down to the surface of this planet, and then you see two people that are there that have survived with escape pods. And they're essentially doing their work to find resources and figure out what they can use in this planet. The second person, his escape pod has essentially been overgrown by this tree, and he can't get out. It's kind of harrowing, and he kind of goes a little nutty.
Yikes.
And it's all about these two groups and essentially how they're surviving, utilizing the environment. Sorry, there's three, actually. I meant there's three. There's another woman with a robot, and she's surviving as well. And it's really unique, her relationship with the robot, because it's a robot like you've seen before, but it can do different things. And I really like their relationship. So the first episode,
not some kind of weird sex robot, though, right?
No. Just it's a robot that
right.
You think something's up with the robot because it feels like it's almost becoming sentient along the way, but not in a bad way, but just becoming like more than like a robot with
like Data from Star Trek, like a little
kind of, but doesn't look human at all. I mean, it looks like less. It's about as. Just imagine if R2D2 had could stand and walk, but kind of looked like R2D2. Not like C3PO. Yeah.
Right.
So very robotic.
Not bipedal per se.
Correct. Sort of. But there are just some things you see where it's kind of clever. You look at how they survive and use the environment, which is very unique. But you can kind of see there's something going to go very weird and off that I'm intrigued, and people have just raved about this series. So I'm like, that's cool. I'm going to check it out more. The interesting thing part of this, Charlie, is just like Prodigy. This series was on Max and canceled, but Netflix is now showing it. So you can watch this on Max or Netflix. So potentially this show could get another season from Netflix, which I think is really cool because we see very little adult based, not like sexual, but kind of very unique storytelling and animation from an adult perspective. Yeah, it's not like comedy. So I think this is pretty cool. So check out Scavengers Reign. It's not for everybody, believe me, it is not. But if you're looking for something a little different in animation and science fiction, check it out. The other thing that I checked out, which is very fun, I didn't even know about this thing until I was just cruising Netflix and I saw this. It's called Everyone's in LA. I
think we watched this as well with Mulaney, right?
Correct. So
yes, we watched one, and I know it's brand new, and it's weekly. It's weekly. So
no, it's not weekly. It was daily. It was especially it came out on Friday, and then there was an episode on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Yeah, but it is. It's very a lot of LA centric humor. And then if you like Californians. But it's this part of LA, which is super gross or whatever. So but just uproariously funny.
Yeah, it was a different take. So basically, it was part of the Netflix A Joke comedy festival where everybody happened to be in LA because that's why it's called this. So John Mulaney decided to do essentially 5 live broadcasts on Netflix.
Right.
And it was over a week long.
Right.
And now you can watch it now, but it's not live, of course. Right. But every episode was a mix of comedians and experts about LA. And essentially the first episode was coyotes. It was
right. That was the one we saw. It's funny what you describe everybody in LA. It's like the doco about We Are the World, which is how they made that song, because everybody was in LA for the American Music Awards in 1985. Same thing.
Yeah, so I've only watched the first one, but I really enjoyed it. I want to watch the rest of them because it is. I mean,
that's a good reminder. Weird. It's a good reminder.
I mean,
I'd love to go check that out.
Got a lot of big stars. They do weird bits and skits.
Right.
One's it's like House Hunters LA, which is absolutely hilarious.
Right. You have the two groups of comedians going around this house, and then they're riffing on it. I'm pretty sure somebody hung themselves in this room or something. Yeah. Oh, you're right. It's but it's very satirical. But it's I think isn't Ron Funches in there, and maybe basically Natasha Leggero, and a lot of the really edgy comics that I love were in this.
Yeah, so it's just very fun, very goofy. They do call-ins, and they talk about cars, and Jerry Seinfeld was on this, and then they had a coyote expert, and it was goofy, and I really enjoyed it. And they have a musical guest. So basically, it's a live talk show on Netflix. Yeah, and it worked really well, and they were just having a blast with it.
Yeah,
they really were.
Yeah, no, that was good. But so there's 5 of them, and so I should need to go back watch the other 4 is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Okay.
just interesting though because they
I
were
can do
doing something
that.
different and it was easy, and I'm like,
Right.
this was pretty damn funny, so I'll
And it worked
watch
because
more.
it was fun. Yeah, totally. All right, you snuck something at the last minute here and jogged my memory because I feel like I've seen this, but maybe by you talking about me, it'll bring the memories back.
Yeah, so I am late to the party with the bear. So I watched season 1 last year, really loved it. Season 2 came out, and I totally forgot, and I'm like, oh, I should watch this because it's typically my treadmill show. So I've been off the treadmill, so I'm back
it's
on.
it's back in a couple weeks. It's back at the end of
Exactly for season
Yeah.
3. So I'm like, I
Right.
should probably catch up. So season 2 is all about creating the restaurant. So building the new restaurant, very fun.
Right.
A lot of pain and suffering, and it's got a lot of interesting storylines, which I like. But the one episode I just watched, and I think it's episode 5 or 6, but it's essentially the Christmas episode. This is a full flashback episode about the Bear family and everybody coming to their house for Christmas. And this episode is a cornucopia of cameos, which I had heard there were going to be cameos.
Right.
And it was an interesting mix of cameos and things. And the whole premise of this is Carm is coming back after he'd been away and in culinary school. You do have Michael, who's, they show him kind of like where he was in his life at the time before we know what happened to Michael. Sugar's in there as well. And then you get the first appearance of Mom, who is
Jamie Lee.
She is just thrown out there as like, we don't know who this woman is. We'll ever see her, and we do. And Jamie Lee Curtis, holy shit. Did she get an Oscar or an Emmy nomination for this? Because she blew it out of the park.
Oh my God. Absolutely. Like I said, and this is me not having seen it since it was on and remembering how powerful that performance is. So yeah, absolutely. And The Bear is on Hulu, correct?
It's on FX, which is coming, which comes to Hulu. So essentially, I don't know who has FX anymore, but it's on Hulu, so you can watch it there.
And Disney Plus, which
correct. If you got Disney Plus and Hulu, you can get everything there now if you want. I don't like that though, because quite honestly, it's too much crap. It's too much crap, and nothing gets found anymore.
I still will bounce back to Hulu to look for
I will
movies, too. But I watch shows like we watch all The Handmaid's Tale on Disney Plus, which is really weird. We're watching 24 right now because April hasn't seen the entire series on Disney Plus right now. You know what I mean? So if I know it's there and it's like, I'll be watching The Acolyte tomorrow, the new Star Wars show on Disney Plus. It's bringing stuff together. But yes, it's the searchability of it is not great.
Well,
I agree with you.
And then now you've got like 85 different platforms and channels and National Geographic. And so at that point, it becomes like, this is like the worst way to experience things because how are you going to find anything new, quite honestly?
Right.
Because if you've got stuff saved, it's not going to pop top. But I will also say what I love about The Bear so much is it truly represents anxiety like I've never seen before in my life.
Right.
This all the scenes in here is just like, holy crap, that definitely recreated family drama at the holidays.
Everybody is miserable in every way, shape, and form. Yes.
Yeah. It's a good departure from like the Hallmark movies. Everything's great at the holidays. Everybody gets along. Everything goes smoothly. And you know what? Yeah, some people's lives are probably like that, but you know what? I'm guessing a lot of people have had a lot of shitty holidays.
Yep.
And this is why not everybody looks forward to going home for the holidays is the best way to put it.
Exactly correct. Oh my goodness.
Show.
Well, I'm going to fire through a couple of quick ones. Yeah. And again, that show is back later this month, so you'll hear us talking about it again. But spent some time at the movies and then apparently spent some time on Max watching some follows. But we wanted to get out to the movies. We're like, all right, let's go see something dumb, which is something we enjoy doing. I mean, April and I have a whole show around it. One of our Patreon shows that we just dropped was our breakdown of the 1994 film The Road to Wellville, which I had never seen before. Todd, not familiar with that one?
No, I am completely familiar with that movie. It is a weird film.
So
Anthony Hopkins
weird.
with beard, with like
the
bunny
buck teeth. April did all the history on it, and it's so much darker than you can possibly imagine, all the stuff that John Harvey Kellogg got into. But anyway, that's our show, and you can find it over on our Patreon. So go get a free trial at patreon.com/SecretFriendsUnite. You can check it out. But anyway, we went to go see a reboot of a film from 2008, which we then came home and watched the original, called The Strangers. But this is part 1 of 3. So they're taking, you should see, if you're not watching YouTube, Todd just flicked his upper lip when I said that.
Okay, so is this a prequel to like the original Strangers?
This is the deal. It is a straight remake of the film from 2008, which starred Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman as a couple who are returning back to, I believe, his childhood summer home after a failed marriage proposal. He asked to marry her. She said no, but they come back to the house with the rose petals and everything and the bottle of champagne but they're too far away from home to go back for the night. So they're stranded at this house, and what's also echoed in the remake, which follows not the exact same plot line beat for beat, but it's like 75% of the 2008 film. Different characters set in modern times. In the case of the new film, it is a couple traveling from New York City to Portland, Oregon, because one of the two of them is starting, I think she's starting a new job. But they stop in Venus, Oregon at a diner so they can have dinner, and their car develops trouble, which they feel like it might be a plant because the guys at the local garage are watching them go into the diner, and all the locals are like, you just get a feeling something's up in this town. There's also these Village of the Damned kids that come around, and it's very creepy. So they're stranded. They have to go to an Airbnb, which is a cabin in the woods. You're not seeing me with all my air quotes, where they end up just the two of them listening to records, drinking beer, and then there's a knock at the door. This has happened in both films with a creepy little girl who says, "Is Tamara there?" Yes. And Tamara is not there. It's not the name of one of the other characters. And then as it goes on, they, in both films, end up being stalked by a trio of masked villains that are wearing like weird, like one's wearing a Betty Boop mask. The other guy's got like the Scarecrow hood from Batman. The other one has like another, it's just, that part is virtually identical between the two films, and two of them are wielding knives and the other one has a hatchet. But the deal with this new one is that they've set it up to, at the end of it in both films, our protagonists get captured and then both get stabbed and they look like they're both dying. But the female character lives. Sorry about the spoiler. And so in this new film, she's in a hospital and wakes up, and then it says to be continued. And this is going to turn into a trilogy. April was looking into it as we were driving away.
Wasn't Liv Tyler in the first Strangers?
It was Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman. Like I said, the one thing I can tell you between the new actors, and the female actor was somewhat, I'd have to look it up, but she was somewhat familiar. The guy was not. Between this new film and the 2008 film, the two characters in the newer film are a lot smarter than Scott Speedman and Liv Tyler. They're really dumb. They absolutely every single solitary horror film trope Liv and Scott get into, where these other two are kind of dumb but not as dumb. So I would say, this is a definite case of the, start your engines, let's get a franchise started. That makes that really doesn't earn it, because you're like,
are these movies coming out like every year?
Maybe. I guess I'd have to dig a little deeper. I guess I don't know the whole plan, but it's supposed to be, this was a part one. And it was funny, you and John and I were talking just earlier this evening about calling something a part one is iffy, because especially
if you miss part one, are you showing up for part two?
Right. Which, in the modern era, you don't really miss anything because you can catch stuff or whatever. But
oh, come on, Charlie. This is, I got to keep up. Why are they killing people, and who survived? And
that's what, obviously in part two, you're going to dig into the fact that, blah, 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 the small town, it's a big cult or something. And this is how they trap people, because in the course of the young woman in the newer version she runs into the woods and falls down and has to cover her up with some leaves because one of the people's chasing her, and she finds the decaying body of the guy you saw in the cold open of the film, who was also being chased because he had also been lured several months earlier, had been obviously lured into the same trap. So so there you go. So I would say 2024, the Strangers couple, much smarter than 2008 the Strangers couple, who just seems super dumb. Liv Tyler did survive the end of that one, because she screams at the end, and then that's the end of the film. So anyway, as I said, the Strangers Part 1 theaters, 2008 original in Max. It did have a sequel in 2018 called the Strangers the Prey or something. We were going to watch that too, just to be like, well, we got to know the whole story. But maybe that'll also influence what we'll see in part 2 or potentially part 3. Last night we watched, and I'd seen this on like new things to watch, the movie Iron Claw. Todd, does this sound familiar to you, about wrestlers?
Yes, I've been meaning to see that.
Well, I will not say a lot about it. But when you talked about Jeremy Allen White, I watch stuff sometimes, and even if it was last night, I'll kind of forget. But Jeremy Allen White plays one of 4 brothers. The oldest of which is the Von Erichs is Zac Efron, and then a couple of other actors that I'm not super familiar with. Maura Tierney plays their mother. She's not a very nice lady. And the dad is one of those character actors but he's also a real asshole. But it's based on true events.
Not in real life. The actor is a very nice man.
I'm sure he is. The only celebrity cast cameo in this, because this is all set in the very late 1970s, early 80s, is Ric Flair. They got a guy to be Ric Flair, who said "woo" a bunch of times. So
was he playing Ric Flair?
He was playing this.
That's a stretch.
There was an
Did they de-age him?
It was not actually Ric Flair. It was an actor playing Ric Flair.
Actor playing Ric Flair. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. This movie had a lot of heart, and it had a beautiful ending. Lily Allen, or Lily James, a very pretty actress who was in Baby Driver, is the wife of Zac Efron's character. So that's another. But yeah, Todd, go see it. I won't say much more about it. It's
on Max now, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's a very heartfelt, kind of heart-wrenching story, but it has a happy ending. So sorry.
Well, I mean, and I'm an old wrestling hat, so the Von Erichs are a esteemed family.
Oh, gotcha.
They have such a I mean, there's things, from what I understand, there's things in this movie. There's more bad things that weren't even put in this movie about the family. They have a very tragic life, and most wrestlers do.
Tragic. Oh my God, yeah. But yeah, Todd, go out, and listeners, please go out and check this out. It's on Max, and you probably have, if you like House of Dragons, you're gonna have to sign back up for Max anyway. So I would, and then you can watch stupid Liv Tyler in the original The Strangers from 2008.
While you're there, watch Apocalypse, and then you can see Ben Affleck put a little animal cracker on her belly.
You said Apocalypse. It's not Apocalypse. It's
Armageddon. That's Armageddon. What it is. One of those things.
Yeah, he was Colonel Kurtz. Did they remake that movie?
That's right. That's right.
Oh my God.
I had a girlfriend that liked to play with animal crackers.
Oh my God. All right. We're skipping that. All right. And then finally I read a comic. I didn't quite finish it. It's 4 issues. It's on Marvel Unlimited now. And it is an interquill celebrating the 40th anniversary of Marvel Superhero Secret Wars, my favorite limited series of all time. It's set between, it's so funny because it's set between pages 5 and 6 of issue 12 of the original series, when everything is over. Reed Richards is working on one of the machines to send everybody home, and Spider-Man in his black alien costume runs off into their fortress to find a snack. And in finding a snack, he falls through a hole into another dimension, and he finds himself fighting the Absorbing Man, who had already been sent home, but he got pulled back because there is another faction besides the Beyonder that wants to play with humanity. And that may sound very it sounds very run-of-the-mill. The thing that I absolutely adore about this series is, Todd, you're of course familiar with the action figure line that came. It was Marvel's first real 3 3/4 inch action figure line.
Yep. Shields. I think there's holograms involved, maybe.
Correct. And the bad guys had square ones and the heroes had circular ones. However, within that series, there were a few erroneously produced characters that did not take part. Those characters were Falcon, Electro, Hobgoblin, Baron Zemo, and Falcon, and Daredevil, and Iceman. This story brings all of them into this pocket dimension that Spider-Man is in, and they all have an adventure together.
Based on the Secret Wars action figures.
Correct. I thought that was fantastic.
The shields?
They have the shield. They have the shields play a part.
Oh, that's amazing.
But the reason I'm enjoying this,
they have limited articulation too.
Yes, they only do this. and their legs just do this.
Love it.
I like, Todd, you'll appreciate this because I know you very much like the late 90s Spider-Man series, The Untold Tales of Spider-Man, which was written by Tom DeFalco and penciled by Pat Olliffe. And they're the creatives on this.
Great series.
On this. So this is very fun, and it was 4 issues, and all 4 issues are now on Marvel Unlimited. I'm really taken by the fact that they put these 4 characters in there, and they're 4 heroes and villains that don't really mix it up with each other. So seeing the Hobgoblin fight the Falcon and seeing Electro fight Iceman, it was very different. Oh, the Human Torch and Spidey are together, which they frequently are. They're frequent collaborators. But yeah, the villain that was part of the main series is the Absorbing Man. But this is really fun. I would recommend this. I haven't yet gotten to the end, but there's a twist in the 4th issue. I'm about a quarter of a way through. I was just reading it at lunch. A quarter of a way through the final issue when the end game of the malevolent the malevolent race that is putting this on has created this little menagerie, when their final end game is revealed, and it was not something that I expected. So it's cool. It's got twists, it's got turns, but it has the little shields. Yeah, it was awesome. I absolutely recommend it. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it was Dr. Doom wearing the cutoff sleeves.
I do. I have. It's one of the figures. It's one of the figures that
no
I
cape,
have.
Cutoff sleeves, and just hanging out.
I have that figure because part of Marvel Legends, the Avengers 60th anniversary line, he was released in a 2-pack with Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau. They came in from Secret Wars, released in a 2-pack. Rambo. But yeah, go ahead and check that out again. I said Marvel Unlimited. All right, so that is the end of the Geek Easy. Todd, time to get out that Air Qantas app. We are due in the land down under. Hologram Tina and the mutants await for us to play a game for their amusement. Let's go for it.
Welcome to another edition of Thunderdome!
Thank you, Tina. The mutants have been gathered for a topic of her game to be entertained. And this week, we're talking about IMDB Keyword Plot Game. Oh my goodness. We're covering 2010 comic book movies. These can basically be superhero films or anything based off a comic book or feels like a comic book was made in it. And the way we play this game is if you go to IMDb and look at plot keywords, you'll actually get a list for a movie that describes all the plot elements of that movie. Sometimes they're specific, sometimes they're really vague, and sometimes they're spot on.
I just kept scrolling until I got into the more weird ones.
Yeah, so you can actually sort it alphabetically or by relevancy. So I usually do alphabetical just to mix it up, so which is fun. So Charlie's picked a movie. I have picked a movie as well. So Charlie has elected to make me guess.
Oh yes,
first.
You
so
bet.
Charlie.
Okay, this film, and you're right. I sorted it by relevance, and then I just kept scrolling until I'm down to the ones that say helpful 0.
Yes. Exactly.
All right,
yes.
Let's start going. And I mean, if you really can't figure out, do you just eventually say I give up, or okay?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. If you just I'm out of it, because what we try to do is, well, I mean, you could give me keywords that are closer to the real thing.
Right.
We try to avoid those as much as possible.
Right,
but really it's to feel like how much, I mean, we could do like 30 or 40 words, but essentially it gets to a point where you try to give a little bit of a hint.
Right.
So,
right. All right. Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Exploding truck. Satellite. Severed head. Ooh. Police station. Train accident. Fictional city. Bare-chested male. Falling downstairs. Back from the dead. Tracking device. Missile. Cape. Seoul, South Korea. That might help. Tragic past. Party. Montage.
Dark Knight?
Nope.
Ooh.
Okay. Montage. Supercomputer. Tractor. Heart ripped out. Oh, my ex-wife. Ballerina. Tattoo. I don't remember that as being part of this film, but whatever.
Is this Brightburn?
Nope. That wasn't in the 2010s. That was more recent.
Was it? Okay, couldn't remember.
Yeah,
I thought it was.
I thought it was 2021. I could be wrong. Countryside. Runaway Train. Oh, I feel like I might have already done that one. Sorry.
Is this Iron Man 3?
No, it is not. Oh, and do we limit each other to a certain number of guesses? You just keep guessing.
Nope.
Until you say
Nope. It's just
all
it's wide
right.
open.
Building collapse. Bridge collapse. Radical transformation. Superhero versus superhero. That's every superhero movie. They have a misunderstanding like it's Three's Company. Bunker. Secret passageway. Throwing darts. Sonic shockwave. Spitting out a tooth. Yuck.
Is this Civil War?
Nope. You're getting closer. So hopefully that's helpful. Extraterrestrial human. What's an extraterrestrial human?
Oh, is this
Strong female aid. That probably helps quite a bit.
is this Avengers 2?
What's the name of Avengers 2?
Age of Ultron.
That is correct.
I'm trying to think of like cape and then things and wow, I haven't seen that movie
Since
God.
since 2015.
Probably not. It's probably it's one of the ones I never probably got back to. Maybe I watched it twice.
I have a 6-pack of Avengers Phase 1 movies.
Wait, Charlie, you been working out? You got a 6-pack? Oh my God!
I'm going to show you right now. Here, no, I'm just kidding. No, I have a 6-pack.
Save it for the OnlyFans.
Yeah. You're right. Why buy the cow? No, my 6-pack is the 3 Cap films, and it's the original Avengers, and then it's Endgame and Infinity War. So I figure if you watch those 3, you get the bulk of everything you need out of Phase 1.
It didn't come in a 6-pack, right?
It did not come. Well, I don't believe so.
Well, wasn't there a briefcase with the films at a time or something like that?
There's one that came in a Tesseract, like the Cosmic Cube. That was one of the packaging.
And the next movie comes out, it's obsolete.
Right. Well, that's why by having those 6 films, to me, that kind of cuts out the fluff. So this movie is kind of fluff because some of it is kind of important, but most of it really a throwaway line in Civil War, pretty much, or the little recap at the beginning of Civil War when they said, "Here's all the bad shit. Here's all the shit you've been mixed up in Avengers," and they have clips of Sokovia falling from the sky. Yeah. So yes, and this
they have an awesome opening scene where they're all coming through. It did feel like this is the movie where the Avengers are a team.
They do the
they're working together.
They do the big money shot where they're all jumping at once, and it tilts to the side and gets them all doing It
seems like the Avengers never got a chance just to have a cool adventure. They weren't at each other's heads, which was a big shame.
Right. I agree with you.
Yeah.
All right. I have at the very least brought up the list you got me, so maybe it'll help. I don't know if you had that up, but I won't click into any of the movies. This way.
Nope. Get rid of it. Get rid of it.
Fine.
Kill it off.
I should.
Yep. Don't look at it.
I should have told you. All right. Fire away.
Okay. So Charlie, are you ready?
That's what I just said.
Here we go. Alter ego.
Batman.
Oh wow, I'm running out of words.
If you scroll down to the bottom and hit.
Yeah, I know. I'm at it. Yep. Computer animation.
Okay.
Dalek,
like from Doctor Who.
Flying Monkey. Hall of Mirrors.
Oh wait, is this the Lego movie? Weren't those things in there?
Hugging.
Oh, there's a lot of hugging in that movie.
Lobster.
It's the Lego movie. No, it's Batman. It's Batman the Lego Batman movie.
There you go.
That's
Lobster Thermidor.
That's one of my absolute favorites. And she went to, they're talking about Barbara. She went to Harvard for cops. So she got
this one was probably a little too easy because most of the keywords are like so like there's so many iconic things in this movie. It's
Yeah.
like, oh god, yeah. This is when like Lego was king of the world.
Yeah, that was one
Well.
that my late son Parker really loved. So maybe that's why I've not gone back to it.
It's a cute film. It's a cute film. It's very cute. Love it. Yeah, we never got a sequel to that. And I think that's fine. I think it did what it needed to do.
I think things that don't get sequels are pretty much preferable, especially in this day and age.
Yeah, sometimes you can nail with one film, and I think that's sufficient. Yeah, so that is it for IMDB Plot Keywords game for the 2010s comic book movies. Hopefully you got them before we did. Although Charlie's pretty quick on ours, so I mean,
the lobster
there you go.
one.
I almost did Jonah Hex. I'm like, maybe Charlie wouldn't get Jonah Hex.
That would have been painful. Because I don't. First of all, I think the film was very painful.
I've never seen it.
Wasn't that with? No, it wasn't. Jonathan Scheck from That Thing You Do played Jonah Hex, but it was on one of the TV shows.
Oh yeah, probably the Legends of Tomorrow.
Which I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I enjoyed.
This was Josh Brolin and Megan Fox.
Oh my god!
I don't know who the bad guy was. I need to watch that movie just to see what it's all about.
What would you think about? We'll commit to a little micro version of Bad Trip to the Movies, and you and I will watch that one and we talk about it. I'd be down for that.
Sure, why
not?
Yeah,
all right. Plug it in.
Charlie, you're signing me up for all these things. I'm like, I'm the worst watcher of things.
I know,
so
but
maybe in 2025,
if we choose just one thing and make a commitment to do it together, then it's easy. But anyway, folks, that is the end of our show. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Todd, where do people find you out there?
They find me on the threads at Toxtra, at Secret Friends Unite. If you're on the Twitters still, at Toxtra, at Secret Friends U. Nope, don't call it that. It is silly to do that.
Especially since you saw my headline today that now apparently material identified as such that as pornography is now going to be allowed on X. That was a headline I read today.
Perfect.
That's great.
Just what they need. Now I can finally fully reveal myself on X.
Oh my gosh.
Twitter. Yeah. So beyond that, just check out our Discord, which you already know what it is. Check out our Patreon and check out our website for all things Secret Friends Unite.
Absolutely. And I also wholly endorse all of those things, probably not X as much. But you can find me on Instagram and Threads, the C3 spelled out TheCeeThree, the C3. Spend a heck of a lot of my time over in that Secret Friends Unite Discord, the most funnest Discord in all of Discord land. We have a good time. But we would also love to hear from you guys after we've opened up the Secret Friends Unite at gmail.com mailbag. Drop us a line. Let us know something you're enjoying in the geek world. And if your comment is hopefully not laced with profanity, we might even read it on the show. But we can't guarantee that. Offer void in Tennessee. Sorry. Oh, but anyway, with that, friends, once again, thank you for joining us. I'm going to tell you that sharing is caring. To keep on trekking.
Be the hero, not the villain.
In a truck.
My precious, give me another movie, my precious.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow at Secret Friends U on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.